सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओं. We have completed third chapter in Bhagavad Gita. Now we are entering into the fourth chapter. We'll first read the first sloka and then proceed. Atha chaturtho dhyayah Shri Bhagavanuvacha imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshvakave bravit. The name of this chapter is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogam. Very a typical name. If you don't understand this properly, it will lead to a wrong meaning. Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogamu. Sannyasamu means renouncing. So if you take this as renouncing two things. What are the two things? Jnanam and karma. So if you renounce both jnanam and karma, there is nothing to achieve. So that should not be the meaning. You have to understand this as jnanaya karma sannyasam. For the sake of jnanam, you have to renounce karma. There are various steps. So with Kevala Bhakti, you have to come to Karma Yoga. And from Karma Yoga, you have to cleanse your Antakaranas. Get yourself ready with Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata, Chitta Vaishalyam. After cleansing your Antakaranas, you are ready and refined for Jnana Yoga. So this is the meaning of this particular title, Jnanaya Karma Sannyasam. For the sake of Jnanam, you have to renounce the karma. Some people do think that, karma itself will give moksham. So they don't enter into Karma Yoga. They keep on doing various rituals and perform various yajnas, yagas and all that. Don't bother about jnana. So Kevala karma or karma yogam will not give moksham. This is for sure. Because karma yoga has got Karma Yoga has got a limitation. What is the limitation? It can at the most give you some punyam, and it may take you to some lokas, higher realms of heaven. And after completely exhausting your punyam, you have to fall down to this earth or to the lokas beneath this. Imam lokam va hinataram va vishanti. So, Karma Yoga directly will not give moksham. That much is for sure. So, you cannot, end up with Karma Yoga. So, Karma Yoga, you have to carry on for some time, and then after cleansing your Antakaranas, you have to slowly enter into Jnana Yoga. So this is the idea. Jnana Yogam means you will be introduced your own real self, and then after understanding and assimilating your own real self, you try to stay in that nishtha, and that gives you anandam, and that gives you jivan mukti. At the fall of your body, you can achieve videha mukti. So this is the scheme. Bhagavad Gita has given so many allied topics. Along with the Jnanam, it has touched so many topics because it is a practical guide for human being to lead a Vaidika Jivanam, to lead a Vaidika life, the Vedic life. So it has given so many topics, like it included how you have to moderate your eating, and it talked about fasting. It talked about the types of eating, the sattva, sattvic food, tamasic food, and rasic food, like that. And it has also given various other faculties, like meditations. Then it has given how to talk. So like that, it has given various disciplines as agantukam, as incidental topic along with Jnana Yoga. But the main topic and the very quintessence of Bhagavad Gita is Jnanam, and Jnanam alone, that too Atma Jnanam. So with this idea, this particular chapter caters to Jnana Yoga. Jnanaya karma sannyasam. For the sake of Jnanam, renouncement of karma. We often say that without entering into Jnana Yogam, if you stop with Karma Yoga, the journey is incomplete. The spiritual journey is incomplete. The other way of it is, if you enter Jnana Yoga without Karma Yoga, the Jnana Yoga is impossible, because you only achieve academic knowledge. You don't get the benefit of Jnana Yoga. First you have to get yourself qualified and then enter into Jnana Yoga. The first chapter, that is Arjuna Vishada Yogam, dealt with the human problem of samsara. Raga, Shoka, Moha. Means the problem of emotional dependence upon external factors. When you are attached to a particular thing or a particular person or particular place, it will definitely lead you to Sokam, grief. Raga means attachment, Soka means grief, Moha means delusion. So if you are attached to a person, nobody for that matter is eternal here. So the person may go away from your sight. So you get a Sokam, you get grief. In that grief, you go to a delusion. A deluded man is totally clouded by emotions. His intellect is clouded with delusion. So when his intellect is clouded with delusion, he loses the decisive power. He cannot decide what is dharmam, what is adharmam. Dharma, dharma vichakshana. That is totally lost. That is taking the backdrop. So Arjuna had this conflict. This was the scene in the first chapter. So when he had this conflict, he was in a total confused state whether to fight or not to fight. If he fights, he will lose his grandfather and his guru. So he doesn't want to fight. And ultimately, he realizes that he is in the wrong track. So his thinking is wrong. So he surrenders to Paramatma. And then he says, may you decide on my behalf and guide me. So he says, Sadimam Tvam Prapannam Aham Te Sishyaha. You please, I am surrendering to you, please help me out of this situation. So, Aham Te Sishyaha, I am your, student. So, whatever is good for me, whatever is shreyas for me, may you decide on my behalf and tell me. So, from that very moment, from that very moment, the charioteer, Paramatma, became a Jagat Guru. And he started his Gita teaching. We have this Dhyana Sloka, Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanora Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So, in this Jnana Sloka, in this Dhyana Sloka, it is clearly said, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Unto the Jagat Guru, our salutation. So, keeping Arjuna as a pretext, Paramatma gave his teaching to the entire humanity. Even today, we are benefited by his teaching. In Bhagavatam, there is a stuti called Bhishma Stuti, written by Bhishmacharya. In that he says, Hey Bhagavan, you removed Arjuna's delusion by Atma Vidya. Arjuna was totally confused, and you have removed all his confusion by your Atma Vidya. Therefore, Gita is a moksha sastram, a jnana sastram. It gives moksham. So, he realized that Bhagavad Gita deals with jnana and it gives moksham. The second chapter, from 12th sloka up to 30th sloka, Bhagavan has given Jnana Yogam. Second chapter is a capsule form of the entire Gita. Gita in a condensed form. If you look at the news reading style, it will have a three-tier method: Samkshipta, Vistara, Samkshipta. First, they will tell the entire news in a brief, in a nutshell, in headlines. Some 6 to 10 headlines they will read out. So that is the news in nutshell. Then each headline they pick up and then they elaborate. Again, at the end of the news, they again read the headlines to consolidate the news. So, this is the style: Samkshipta, Vistara, Samkshipta. In the same way, Bhagavad Gita also, the second chapter is a condensed form of the entire Gita. Then, third chapter up to 17th chapter is the expansion of each sloka in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter. So that is the expansion. And in the 18th chapter again, we have got the condensed form of the entire Gita. Now, in the second chapter, Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, Paramatma started his teaching from 12th sloka onwards up to 30th sloka. He started like this: Natve vaham jatu nasam natvam nebe janadipaha na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. Like that, Paramatma started his teaching, and he ended saying, Dehi nityamavadyoyam dehe sarvasya bharata tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam sochitum arhasi. Then again at the end of the chapter, Arjuna questions what would be the nature of a jnani. So he narrates how a jnani behaves. So that is all Chiraprajna Lakshanani. So like this, this entire chapter, the major portion is catering to Jnanam. However, in addition to Jnanam, he also quoted Karma Yoga. So those slokas, whatever he quoted, he elaborated in the third chapter. The Karma Yoga is the elaboration of the slokas that were mentioned in the second chapter. He said that Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Then he also said that Karma Yoga means right action and right attitude. So from Kevala Karma, one has to shift to Karma Yoga. So this was the idea. So in this entire first and second chapters, Paramatma has given, especially the second chapter, Paramatma has given in nutshell Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. So this Jnana Yoga, whatever he has given in a condensed form, is elaborated in two chapters, that is fourth chapter and fifth chapter. So we have this, the fourth chapter beginning. The fourth chapter, instead of starting Jnana Yoga directly, Paramatma takes a slight diversion from sloka 1 up to 8. He doesn't give directly Jnana Yoga, he takes a small diversion like introduction. And then he starts from 9th sloka onwards, the Jnana Yoga proper he develops. In this diversion, that is sloka number 1 to 8, Paramatma chose two topics. The first topic is Gita Stuti, the importance of Gita, Bhagavad Gita. The second topic he discussed is Avatara Rahastyam, the secrecy of his incarnation, the purpose and purport of his incarnation. So this is the first 8 slokas. So Paramatma doesn't want to claim that this knowledge is his own. He says this is very ancient knowledge, the Vedic knowledge. And this Vedic knowledge is very ancient, and it was propagated by rishis. Rishis have, they were visionaries for this Vedic knowledge, and they actually had the vision of this Vedic knowledge, and they have spread this in the humanity. Now, somehow this Vedic knowledge, it is not, going to the grassroots. It is that chain is not continued, because the attitude of humans are not towards the moksham. They are just satisfied with the local things. They do not know the very purpose of this life. So they miss the real purpose of this life, and therefore the Vedic wisdom is lost in the course of time. So Paramatma wants to revive the knowledge once and again. He became a Jagat Guru. That is the Avatara Rahasyam. He became a Jagat Guru. And he started teaching Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and that teaching is Moksha Shastram, is available even to us today. So that way Paramatma has opened up a new way of life, following which we can all have the benefit of this the great wisdom of Veda in a condensed form. The Vedic literature is so vast. So many thousands of mantras are there. It is very difficult to study such a huge subject. Whereas Paramatma has condensed the entire, the crux, the essence, the quintessence of the Gita, quintessence of Vedas into Gita Bodha, into Bhagavad Gita. So the study of Gita is as good as the study of Vedas. You get the same benefit. And the study of Gita is easier in comparison with the study of the Upanishads. So that is why it is said that Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopala Nandanaha Pardo Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamrutam Mahat. So Sarva Upanishad, all Upanishads are like a cow. If you imagine the entire Upanishad, the gamut of entire Upanishads as a cow, then Paramatma, Krishna as a cowman, as a milkman, and Arjuna as a calf. So, for Arjuna's sake, Paramatma has milked the essence of Veda. That is called Gitamrutam. Gitamrutam Mahat, the great Gitamrutam. So that Gitamrutam he gave to Arjuna, and he wanted that Gita to be propagated. Because it is simple, relatively easier to understand. Therefore, one can study Gita and get the benefit. Same benefit as study of Upanishads. So, we will go to the first sloka. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manurikshva Kave Bravit. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha means Bhagavan spoke this way. Aham imam avyayam yogam vivasvate proktavan. Aham imam avyayam yogam. This avyayam means the eternal Vedic wisdom. I gave it to Vivasvan, Vivasvate Proktavan. I gave this knowledge to Vivasvan. Who is this Vivasvan? Vivasvan means Viva means Annam. Vivasvan means it is a representative of energy or nourishment. the Surya Bhagavan gives us energy, that is D vitamin he gives the heat energy. So that way he gives us energy for all living beings, and also he gives us food by converting the chlorophyll into the food material by photosynthesis. So vivaha annam asya asti iti vivaswan. So the producer of annam and the giver of energy is nothing but Vivaswan. So Surya Bhagavan has got a name called Vivaswan. So unto that Surya Bhagavan I gave this knowledge. Vivaswan Manave Praha. So what did that Surya Bhagavan do? He gave this knowledge to his own son, whose name is Manu. He is called Vaivasvata Manu. We are in that Manvantara, in that the period of that Manu. Manu is the presiding deity of this period, Manvantaram. Then Manuhu Ikshvakave Bravit. Manu gave this knowledge to Ikshvaku Raja. Ikshvaku dynasty is the dynasty of Rama. So Rama belongs to Surya Vamsha. Because Surya's son is Manu, Manu's son is Ikshvaku, and Rama belongs to that Ikshvaku dynasty. There are in fact two lineages as far as the Vedic teaching is concerned. Two lineages are there. One is called Kshatriya lineage, other one is called Brahma Parampara. Kshatriya Parampara, Brahma Parampara. Kshatriya Parampara, Paramatma is explaining here. And Brahma Parampara, from Brahma, we have learnt in the Mundakopanishad how Brahma taught to different rishis. That is one parampara. The other parampara is Brahma taught to his Manasaputras, Sanaka, Sanatkumara, Sanandana, all these Manasaputras. And they, in fact, taught to their students. Like that, there is a parampara. So there are two paramparas, Kshatriya Parampara and Brahma Parampara. So Paramatma is referring to this Kshatriya Parampara. So Rama belongs to Surya Vamsam and Sita Devi, Mata, belongs to Chandra Vamsam. Surya Vamsa Samudbhutam Soma Vamsa Samudbhavam Putram Dasradasyadyam Putrim Janaka Bhupate. So this is how they say about their lineage. So we have up to the first four slokas, the Gita glorification and how this knowledge is spread to various people. All this is explained here. So in this, Paramatma wants to say that he has given this rare knowledge to Surya Bhagavan, and Surya Bhagavan has given to Manu, Manu has given to his son Ikshvaku. Then what happened? Evam parampara praptam yamam rajarshayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yogo nastha parantapa. O Arjuna, the royal sages, the Rajarshis, handed over this Vedic knowledge to their successors, owing to long passage of time, this secret knowledge is lost in this world. Nobody knows what is this knowledge. So the time has come. I have to revive this knowledge once and again. So that is why I have chosen this time. Now I am giving that secret knowledge, which is lost now, which is supposed to be in the Kshatriyas, but this knowledge is no more prevalent. So I have to revive this. Through you, I revive this knowledge. See, now we are getting this knowledge because of Arjuna and Paramatma. So that knowledge is continuing even today. So we are grateful to both Paramatma and Arjuna. It is like the perennial Ganga. So this Gita belongs to the previous Yugam, Dwapara Yugam. But now we are in the Kali Yuga. Still we are having this great knowledge. So that way we are fortunate that parampara is continuing. So it is like a perennial river. Ganga started from the celestial world, Akasham. From Akasham it came on to the Jata Juta, the matted hair of Shiva, and from Shiva it fell in Gangotri, and from Gangotri it started flowing on the earth, and then finally it goes into sea at Ganga Sagar. So such a perennial river is Ganga. In the same way, the Bhagavad Gita is also like Jnana Ganga. If Ganga can cleanse our impurities, external impurities, Bhagavad Gita can cleanse all our impurities, which is ragam, dvesham, kamam, krodham, madam, matsaryam. All these things it can remove and give us the moksha. So Mala nirmochanam pumsam jalasnanam dine dine sukrut gitambasisnanam samsara malanashanam. By simply taking bath, taking a dip in the holy river, you can get rid of these external impurities. Whereas if you take dip into Gita Ambasi, the river Gita, and take a dip in Gita Ambasi means what? If you study Gita, if you understand Gita, samsara malanasanam. So the malam called samsara can be avoided. Shankara Bhagavad Pada says in Bhaja Govindam, he says that Geyam Gita Nama Sahastram Dhyayam Sripati Rupa Majastram. So he says, if you read Gita and Vishnu Sahasranamam and praise Sripati, then your life is really worthy. So these Rajarshis, He Parantapa, He the scorcher of enemies. This word is an adjective for Arjuna. He Parantapa, Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Yogam Rajarshayo Viduhu. So this way, Parampara Praptam, from father to son, son to his son, like that, like a parampara, this Vedic wisdom is passed on to generations. In the royal sages. Saha yogaha mahata kalena iha nashtaha. So that great flow is no more continued. Because of the great lapse of time, it is totally lost. So no more these Rajarshis have that secret knowledge. So the time has come to revive this knowledge. So Paramatma, actually, if you take his avatara, he has destroyed and killed many Rakshasas, including Kamsa, Madhusudana, like that. There are so many demons he has destroyed. That is Dushta Sikshana. And the Sishta Rakshana also he did. That is one part. The major reason, the prime reason for his avataram is to revive the Dharma Rakshanam, that is the Vedic wisdom. So that is why Paramatma took this avataram and then gave this wonderful teaching. So this is the very secret of his avatara rahasyam. We will proceed to sloka number 3. Sayevayam maya tedya yoga proktah puratana bhaktosi me saka cheti rahasyam hyetaduttamam. Saha eva ayam puratanaha yogaha maya adya te proktaha. So the very same ancient yoga, whatever I am talking, the Vedic wisdom, ayam puratanaha, this is very ancient and very valuable knowledge. Yogaha maya, maya means by me, adhya, today, te proktaha, I want to teach you. Why I want to teach you? Why there are so many other people, why only you? Tvam me bhaktaha stakacha asi iti. Because you are my devotee, you are my student. Aham te sishyaha, you said that you are my student. And sakha, sakha means you are my friend. I want your comfort and I want your safety and security. So I want your good well-being. So for that reason, I am teaching it to you. Tvam me bhaktaha staka cha iti. Etat uttamam rahasyam. This is very pious, very divine, and a secret knowledge which is not known to all the people, not known to the public at large. This is what, in Upanishads also, the same type of tone and same type of diction you can also notice in Upanishads. Whenever Upanishads, that knowledge is explored by the gurus, when they describe, when they give the meaning to the Sishyas, they always say this. In Isavasyam, we have a sentence like this. Iti sustrumadhiranam yenastadvacha chetshire. This is what we have learned from our gurus. So we are teaching it to you because you are our Sishya. Because you are our student, we are teaching it to you. In the first chapter, I told you that Arjuna lost all hope. He cannot solve the problem on his own. So he surrenders to Paramatma. So he says, Karpanya doshopahatas svabhavaha pruchhamitvam dharma sammuda chetaha yachreyaha san nishchitam bruhitanme Sishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. By my deluded mind, I do not know what is dharma, what is adharma. I am unable to distinguish dharma and adharma. So, I am totally clouded by this delusion. I surrender unto you. Sishyasteham aham te sishyaha chadimam tvam prapannam. Please help me, save me, and guide me. Yaha sreyaha san nishchitam bruhi tanme. Whatever is shreyas for me, please tell. We have Shraddha Bhakti Jnana Yogat Avaihi. So you should have Shraddha Bhakti on Jnana Yoga. If you want Jnana Yoga, you should have these two components, Shraddha and Bhakti. So because you have these two components, I chose you. Bhakta Asime. Hey Arjuna, you are my Bhakta. So I want to teach you. Sakacha iti. Not only Bhakta, you are my very beloved friend. So I want to give you the secret knowledge. Papat nivarayati yojayate hitaya. Guhyam niguhyati gunan prakati karoti. Apadgatancha na jahati dadati kale. Tanmitra lakshanamidam pravadanti santaha. If a friend goes into a wrong direction, he takes a wrong road, as a good friend, you have to caution him and try to guide him into the proper direction. That is a good friend. Supposing he doesn't care and he doesn't pay heed to you, then you can leave it. But your duty is to alert him and to bring him back to the righteous path. So, etat uttamam rahasyam. This ultimate and final knowledge, that is the Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, is a rare knowledge, the knowledge about yourself. It is also rahasyam, not open to all, kept as a secret knowledge. So such knowledge I am going to teach you. Two people were traveling in a train from Kanyakumari up to Jammu Tawi. It's a very long route. It takes nearly 4 to 5 nights journey. So both were traveling in the same compartment, in an AC compartment. So out of the two, one is a businessman, the other one is a thief. The businessman knows that other fellow is a thief. So every morning he opens his brief and takes a new bunch of currency notes, and then he counts all the notes and then keeps it back in the brief and spends the entire day talking with him and spending the time. Night, when the businessman is in deep sleep, the thief desperately searches the briefcase. He has got a duplicate key. He can open any brief. So he opens the brief. He searches the pockets of the rich man. So like that, he tries all the places and fails. Next day, again the morning, the businessman gets up and then he takes the note bundle, the currency bundle, and then counts again in front of this thief and keeps it back. So the thief is wonderstruck. He tries desperately again with a double strength, with all his knack and all that. He tries all the places of this businessman, but he fails miserably. The morning again, as usual, the businessman opens the brief and takes the bundle, counts in front of the thief. So like that, all now 5 nights, they went without any success on the part of the thief. So the thief felt very miserably. He is a successful thief. He can steal anything. So such a knave he has got. So he finally talks to the businessman in friendly tone. He says, "Gentleman, I am a thief. I am traveling with you only to steal your money. But to my surprise, I am unable to steal that money. You keep it in the brief. Whenever I open the brief, nothing is there. I don't know where you are keeping. So this is a great surprise for me." So the businessman says, "I keep it under your pillow." The thief searches everywhere except his pillow. He doesn't suspect that the bundle will be under his pillow. So except his pillow, he searches everywhere. So that is how the people, they search for this anandam. They search for peace, happiness and security outside. They think that the peace, happiness and security is outside the human being. They think it is in places, they think it is in people, they think that it is in acquiring various things. Like that, they pin their happiness, they pin their peace and security outside. But unfortunately, the peace, happiness and security is not outside. It is within you. So this knowledge only you will get it from a guru, and when you have that undoubted knowledge that you are the very swarupa of peace, happiness and security, then you start getting that happiness within yourself. You need not run around to get some peace, happiness and security. So this is the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita can bless you peace, happiness and security in abundance. It can give you an abundance. So such a great book, such a great knowledge, Paramatma is giving it to Arjuna. Then Arjuna got a doubt. Paramatma saying, see, I have given this to Surya Bhagavan. Surya Bhagavan has given it to his son called Manu. Manu has given to Ikshvaku, and thereby it got into all Rajarshis, all royal sages. So like that, Krishna Paramatma gave the explanation. So this is not palatable to the mind of Arjuna. So he poses a question. What is that question? Aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvataha kadame tadvijaniyam tvamado proktavaniti. Arjuna uvacha bhavataha janma aparam. Hey Paramatma, hey Krishna, your birth is very recent. You and I, we are contemporaries. So your birth is very, very, very recent. Belongs to this yuga. Vivasvataha janma param. Ataha. Whereas the birth of Surya Bhagavan is very, very remote and nobody knows the birth time of Surya Bhagavan. Whereas people do say that you are born on Krishna Ashtami day. So they know the date of birth, and they know your parentage, everything is known, and it is belonging to our time. Whereas the Surya Bhagavan, though he is there even today, but his birth is not known to us. He is very ancient person. Ataha, if that be the case, tvam adau etat proktavaniti. So in those ancient days, you told that you taught to Surya Bhagavan all this Vedic wisdom. Iti katham vijaniyam, how to assimilate, how to understand this, how to digest this. I can't digest this. You belong to this current generation, and you talk that you taught to Surya Bhagavan. How to understand this? So like that he posed a question. So Paramatma is going to answer this, and he reveals that his Avatara Rahasyam. All his Avatara Rahasyam he tells, which is some beautiful slokas we will get, very popular slokas, which we will see it in the next class. This whole chapter, from Karma Yoga, how the Jnana Yoga comes, it is like a chain. Arjuna posed a question there at the end of the 3rd chapter. He said that in spite of knowing that the good and noble things and righteous way of living, people do take up adharmic actions. What prompts them to do? Then Paramatma said that Ragam and Dvesham are the two things. Then he has given a temporary solution or first aid. He said that Damam, Shamam and Vivekam are the Atmanatma Vivekam is the main thing. You can address this issue temporarily. And he also suggested that this solution is not a final solution. There is a final solution which is called Atma Jnanam. So this prompts this answer that Paramatma said, if you want to take up the righteous path, if you want to lead a dharmic life, you should know Atma Jnanam. So that prompts Paramatma to talk about the Jnana Yoga. This is the connection between the 3rd chapter and the 4th chapter. The Arjuna's question, one of the answers for a person to be noble and righteous is to shed his ajnanam. If he wants to evade his ajnanam, he should know jnana. So what is jnanam? 4th chapter. So with this I'll stop. In the next class, we are going to have the Avatara Rahasyam. Very beautiful slokas we are going to get. So I'll stop today. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudatyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.